The last time it was in the evening, but folks, good morning. This is the morning. And yeah, I see there's more people here than I was possibly expecting. But thank you. I just want to say once again, it's nice to speak to a devoted group of beer aficionados, a brotherhood and a sisterhood of beer, and in your case, young upcoming devotees of beer. The presentations that you give when you show off what you've done the year before, and the ones that what you did last night, and the ones that you're going to do later on today when you start showing off and selling your beers to each other, is partly inspired what I'm going to be chatting to you guys about now. We need to keep this competition alive. We need to keep it vibrant. And despite my maturity, you'll find that I am a reasonably innovative person, and the older I get, the more innovative I get. It's funny, but I'm very, very pleased that that is the case. We're in Munich this year, luckily enough to see a drink tech, as I mentioned. We went to look at a whole lot of suppliers, and we saw a whole lot of guys making small brewery kits, and they were really impressive. It was copper and gold and stainless steel, and some of them were obviously purpose-built and clearly for a commercial application. But what really inspires me about what you guys do on the first evening as the captains and you show off your team is how often in the last 15 years there's always a design element and there's always a lament that this piece of kit didn't work and this bucket and spade made a great beer, but this stainless steel kit didn't work so well. So I want to chat to you guys about something that we think are putting together. Well, it's in an advanced stage. We just need to apply it now and sell it out to you guys. We are thinking of incorporating a design competition as an extra. I think you all know that the November to sort of March time, those sort of 4 or 5 months are quite quiet from our side. And there's a lot of you guys that are post-grad, and a lot of you guys are not stuck with end-of-year exams like some others might be. So the idea is we want to put a design competition together, and we put together some criteria. And we've also been lucky enough to gain the confidence of a whole lot of supply partners that want to be involved. I just want to check that this is, how do I get the next slide? There's a picture of us there. I just want to show you the next one and just go through the details. We want to design a 50 to 100 liter brew kit. We want you guys in your teams to be able to do that. I think you might have seen all over the world, these large 50 and 100 liter kegs are becoming less and less popular, and a lot of the differentiation amongst the keggers all over the world, the keg manufacturers and the application thereof, has been to bespoke smaller kegs, fitting into under-counter fridges and all kinds of stuff. It allows for diversification, allows for a lot more taps, and allows for the broaching interval to stay a safe 4 to 5 days. And a lot of suppliers have very, very nice large kegs. And we put a proposal together and visited a few suppliers. And we are able to source large kegs. And we have the dimensions for all those kegs. Not only are those kegs going to be available to us at possibly a scrap purchase price or even a purchase price, we'd like to give you those specifications so you guys can play. Also, for a lot of you, there are obviously 15 or 16 microbreweries. They also soon need a little bit of refurbishment and maintenance. And if you know the specs of those kegs, you could also put in, we're going to come and visit all your kits in the next couple of months. We can see what you guys might need, and we'll be able to source replenishment stock that you guys can redesign or fix stuff. Even stainless steel, after a long time, starts getting tired. It gets dented, it doesn't look so good. And we'll be able to source you stuff. And some of you that have got kits there where you were stunted with a 50 liter, there's a possibility of getting something closer to 100 liters. So just a quick on what we want to try and do. Not only do we want this to be a design competition, the younger folk today have shorter attention spans, and we want to get you guys as excited as crazy. We are going to theme it. And we walked around, and I looked around for some inspiration. And when I was in Dubai, I saw at the Irish pub was being redesigned and was closed, and the sky bar next door was open. And I walked in there, and they had a big picture of one of Ringo Starr's drum kits on a Euro pallet, as one of the old pictures, which I put up there. So what we're going to inspire you guys to do is go through something. The theme is going to be drum kit, find a proprietary picture of a drum kit and somehow express that in your final design. Okay, so we just think that we could then change the theme the next year, and we want this to be an annual event because that facility will keep going, and we would like you to, we'll think of another theme the next year, which will be quite interesting. In order for this micro kit to work, on the hot side, it needs to have full mash tun, lauter tun, whirlpool, and kettle functionality. Must be able to brew some of the most complex German double, triple decoction. Must be able to do all of that. And clearly, you'll have to design on the cold side some kind of fermentation or lagering kind of univessel, whatever you want to do. Also using the supplied design specifications. So we'll be able to get a CAD or a similar set of the design specifications of the kegs to be provided. You'll be able to download that, and then you'll have that available to you to fiddle around and then to design your brewery accordingly. The kit will be constructed from stainless steel for the vessels, the piping, and any fittings, and we have suppliers lined up for all three. We might have to look at those suppliers and make sure that those suppliers get on well with each other. We don't want two competitive suppliers to be thanked and they don't want to come and visit us and don't want to come and do the handover because the one guy doesn't like the other guy. So we'll make sure all that works very well. We said that it'd be CAD based or similar, using that available stainless steel from that sponsor. We would like you then to make use of the stuff we tell you to use. Obviously for some of the small piping and fitting and the construction and joining up, and that'll obviously be done by your stainless steel or your workshops or some kind of appointed welder. But we'd like the large vessels to be made. We want to thank those suppliers, obviously, and we want them to see their equipment on show. You can imagine, with the kind of broadcasting we are doing, what the sponsors might get out of something like this. And I can tell you right now, there is nothing else on the planet like this. So let us be the first again, but let's do a good job. The winner, obviously there'll be a submission of these. A winner will be decided by appointed professional brewing experts. We have a crowd lined up from Germany that have volunteered to do that. They will obviously put that CAD design onto their stuff and look and see that everything works properly, and we will make that design. Probably, say, April, May, get a top 3. We won't tell the rest that haven't quite made it, but maybe have a top 3. Don't tell them who's the winner, but we'll obviously have to decide. We will have to then help construct it. We'll have to get it professionally safety checked and commissioned. We will hide it under a beautiful cloth in the middle of the auditorium, and we'll do a reveal, and we'll obviously make a big song and dance on that, because I think it'll be a fantastic opportunity. It'll put you guys in very, very high relief. If you just remember what the University of Stellenbosch showed us in 2012, when Eben, who now is running Mad Giant, he had a construction, the most beautiful construction I've ever seen. We are not harnessing our innovation capability. And I think this will be a way, a lot of you guys are on the engineering and technical side, and I think it's well within your grasp to be able to do this. We'll obviously have to do very, very strict safety and hygiene sign-off. Obviously the people whose names might be attached to this, the suppliers, they would want absolute comfort, and they deserve it, that everything is safe, clean, and all that. Obviously those kegs are pressure vessels when they're used as kegs, but when they're used as open reactors with lids and things that are loose, clearly there's no pressure issue that we have to worry about. We just need to be sure that all the electrical stuff, whatever we're using on the hot side in the heating, is done properly. We obviously are going to do that at the following InterVarsity event, and in deference to the suppliers, because it's quite a lot from them, we are going to invite the suppliers to come and join us. We will obviously be able to accommodate them, and we've also challenged them that because they are sponsoring suppliers for this piece, they'll be able to set up in some hall somewhere a set of booths. So I'm thinking of some of the suppliers we've got right amongst us. You'll be able to set up a booth and bring the equipment and bring the stuff you want to sell with this audience in mind. So we don't want to learn how to install a $30 million packaging line, because none of us are going to be probably playing with that, but something that supplies to the student and the craft beer industry at that scale. We'd like them to be able to come. We will obviously look after them and give them all the high relief that they deserve. And they will obviously be able to deal with you guys and with the craft industry via SAB as well, which I think will be good for them. One of the reasons why we are paying such attention to this is you can imagine the goodwill opportunity for those suppliers, the goodwill opportunity for this event. It'll bolster the event and give it a technical anchor, which it hasn't quite got at the moment. We then are going to nominate from the floor, when it's revealed, deserving recipients for that kit. Just imagine next year one of the guys has a flood and his microbrewery gets washed away. If he's a well-known person or if she's a well-known person, we might be able to say, you deserve it. Or one of the varsity teams are struggling with a bucket and spade operation. There's a lot of plastic stuff. Maybe that's a big opportunity. So the goodwill and the handover will also be important, and we can obviously challenge those people that we give it away to, even if they are not students, to brew a ceremonial brew on that for us. Clearly, if it's a student team that wins that, we will expect them to use that for the following year. But should it be another deserving recipient, we might be able to build up a group of people that are deserving recipients. But there will be another competition following on from that. Clearly, this is because of the high relief and the attention around this, you can imagine there are issues of a proprietary nature that might arise. We will discuss with the suppliers long before the time that they're happy that this is a possible recipient. Is there any issue, is there any friction between the suppliers and possible recipients? Because it's going to be in high relief. It'll be broadcast the same way that we're doing now. And we obviously want to tie up all of that. Clearly, some of the suppliers would want that kind of comfort. So, folks, I am proposing that, and I think we will be able to run with that. I think, does anybody here have any concerns about doing this? Do you guys have access to CAD, and how many of you guys are technical enough to be able to harness some other? You might be able to, once again, have interdepartmental cohesion. You might have to find amongst your universities people that can assist you with this. You will obviously be able to teach them all about the brewing side and the requirements, but they might be experts at the design. And I'm hoping that we'll be able to resurrect some more of the interdepartmental cohesion, which was explained to us right in the beginning. I've had comments from deans of students phoning me, Anton, what's going on here? My people are talking to each other, but they're talking to each other on a Saturday and a Sunday while they're brewing. So the little breweries have often brought faculties of science deans and giving us wonderful quips about how well things are going. And I think this will be another feather in the cap. Clearly, if the design as well is really very popular, and should it need to be scaled, and should somebody say, wow, I love the design number 1 from 2023, can I brew or can I build one myself? We will obviously set all that up on a commercial proprietary basis, should that be the case, and there might even be money in it afterwards. But the design, the winning brewing design will negotiate with us as an organizing committee as to where any possible commercial interest might lie. But that'll be for another day, but we've covered those bases. And just also, maybe from the floor, if you know that we are going to be inviting these people and to have booths, we would also like to hear from you during the year. If there are special supplies that you really believe at your level and what you guys are looking at, if you want to have a special supplier to come, give us advance notice, because the kind of supplies we have got already are the kind that are, they will attract. If other suppliers find out who we have got contracted, they would very, very happily want to be part. Amongst the sort of brewing crowd, there are people that are quite charismatic, and they attract a lot of like-minded suppliers, and people like to be seen to be with each other. So we will have a bit of power to be able to do that. So that is my proposal, and that's my proposal for an innovation for next year. And when we come and see you guys as well in the next couple of months, we're going to be looking for innovative ideas from you guys, that you people feel far more part, and not that we as the so-called leaders basically deliver it to you once a year. We want you guys to be far more interactive, and we will certainly be acknowledging those contributions from you should they come, and we will try and incorporate them accordingly. Okay, folks, I'm going to conclude with that, but I'm certainly going to wait for any questions and field anything from the floor. Any concerns or any ideas?
Hello, Anton. How are you doing?
Good value, thanks.
Good. I just want to find out, does it have to be a 3-tier system? But you said like whirlpool capabilities as well?
Yes, must be able to do the full German, because that's often the most complex kind of brew house you'll have.
Mm-hmm.
But there's at least going to be about a 33% inspiration from that picture you get. Make sure the picture in some way can show as an inspiration in your final design, because it's just too easy. Almost every brewery design has already been designed and made. So we're trying to make it interesting to show a little bit of fervor and a little bit of chutzpah from your side. So don't use the picture I've done. This is just one example. This is not a proprietary picture. It's over 50 years old, so there's no copyright. But find others. There are trillions of pictures if you say Ringo Starr drum kit or Beatles drum, or just drum kit. Some of them look remarkably from far like a Euro palette square small brewing kit. So use that inspiration, incorporate that in. Just should you be close to be a winner, you'll have to justify on your design why it looks like that photo. So the photograph will be part of the, otherwise it's just too easy. And if we've sent men to the moon, and we're planning to go to Mars, I can tell you every brewery design has already been designed. So we need to use this as inspiration to provide that little bit of energy or edginess.
Okay,
Yeah.
perfect. Thank you very
Good
much.
value, yeah. You guys keen? Can we do it?
Yes, of course.
Yeah. Maybe I'll steal one of those designs and build something for my retirement. I'm just kidding. But I still haven't brewed at home, so maybe it'll get me going as well. So that's great. Are we okay for time, folks? Okay. Thank you. Thanks for your attention. It was great.